phones turned down. As mayor, I'll call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Leslie, would call the roll.
Carter. Riley.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Sofa.
Here.
Stoops.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Duke is absent.
Could we get a motion to excuse the absence?
I'll make a motion to excuse the absence of Roger Lucas from the meeting.
Support.
Riley.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Stoops.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Duke is absent. Carter.
Yes.
Non-agenda items from the sidelines. We have Tammy from the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, for the month of February, the Memphis Area Chamber of Commerce voted to make BFit Studio the business of the month. They opened in September of last year and have already contributed to the community. They did donations, extra classes before the holidays, and made donations to the Lions Club and the Memphis Police and the Fire Department for their events that they had going on for the holidays. So if I can have BFit Studio come up. This is Tracy, and if you want to tell everybody a little bit about the studio.
Well, BFit Studio is all fitness-based classes, so everything from yoga to Zumba to kettlebell, Pilates. We have some youth-based programs going on there, so there's karate classes there 2 nights a week. And there's also youth teen yoga, specific to teens only, which is going really, really well. So we're pretty proud of it.
You also have kickboxing now? Or
I'm
soon?
working on it. Yeah, that'll be a trip to New York in May.
Okay.
To get that.
And for the month of February, they are running some membership specials?
Yes, so it's 25 classes, $400, which is really great price. You can use those classes for up to 6 months, and you can take any class on the schedule, or 15 classes for $60. Also a great deal. So.
And you have a Facebook page?
Yes, Facebook page, just BFit Studio, or there's a website. It's www.bfitstudio.com.
BEE, right?
BEE, yes. BEE.
Tracy.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you. Thank you. Thanks, Tammy.
Yes.
Any correlation with the Yellow Jackets, being the high school mascot, or no?
Partly I started all of my classes have always been in Memphis. I taught at the Lions Club for many, many summers, and actually at the schools I started teaching my classes when I got my first licenses and certifications. So everything I've done has been here in Memphis, so it seemed to make sense to call it B. So, yeah.
Leslie, anything from the city administration?
For me.
Bart?
Nothing for me tonight.
Jamie?
Nothing tonight.
All right. No tax increases or?
No, the inflation rate multiplier for this year, just so everybody knows, is 2.1%. So for the majority of the people that have been in town, they're not going to see more than a 2.1% increase in their taxable value, regardless of what happens with their assessment. So,
All right, we'll take it. Thank you. Adoption or amendment of the agenda. Do we get a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt agenda as presented.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Stoops.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Duke is absent. Carter.
Yes.
Riley.
Regular meeting minutes. Hope that you've all had a chance to look over the minutes from February 7th. Was there any questions or corrections? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of February 7, 2018 as presented.
Support.
Sofa.
Yes.
Stoops?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Lucas absent, Martyr?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes. Communications, we have none. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, so we have Dave and Gary here from Police and Vandenbrink. Gentlemen, I'll give you the floor, so I'll just kind of give you a little rundown of how this all happened. Dave came into the city office here and made me aware of an opportunity that was coming up. And so they've been kind of putting together a project for us, and I'll let him tell you guys about it.
Okay, great.
I put that up there in case you want to.
Yeah, this is interesting. So, Police and Vandenbrink Engineering is a firm of about 200 people. And so we're spread out throughout the state of Michigan. And we do municipal engineering. So, one of the reasons I stopped into Memphis is because you guys qualify for a special grant program that not many people do. And I don't think, I mean, based on our conversations, you've never taken advantage of it. So the program is called, it comes out from Michigan Economic Development Corporation, it's called ICE. And ICE is a infrastructure capacity enhancement grant. This year we expect that they're going to have about $20 million that they're going to put out here in the next month. Well, the applications will be due within a month, but the award date will be a couple months after that. But infrastructure capacity enhancement allows you to do things that benefit the entire community. And most of it is water and sewer related, right? So we focus on that because water and sewer helps your whole community. Everybody's using it and we all need the improvements. So when I sat down with Eric and talked, we started looking at this. And we started looking at this because this is your lagoon right here. And look how close the stream is to the lagoons. And when we go after grant applications, we want to win. I mean, last year, our company, Police and Vandenbrink, they put out $23 million last year. We got 15 of the $23 million of the whole state for our customers. That's how aggressive we are on grant programs. Gary Bardo, he applied for 5 grants through ICE, got every one of them. Lapeer, got them a $2 million.
1.88.
That was last year. They can't apply this year, so that's good. In this county, there's only 3 communities that can actually apply for that money. And it's basically, well, maybe I won't mention the community. I don't think that's necessary. But there's only 3 in the county that can apply for this money. And it is up to a 90% grant. Last time they didn't give any additional points for more match, so that wasn't part of the equation. But what they look for is something like this that is of kind of an urgent need. So Gary sat down, and you can get up to $2 million per community, right, to do infrastructure. That would be with a 10% match if we get funded. So Gary sat down and came up with different things that we talked about with Bart and Larry and Eric about the wastewater system. I'll let Gary get into the details about what we talked about that could get funded under the program. But does everybody kind of understand the program so far? I don't want to take up too much time, but it is a great opportunity, you guys. You haven't ever gotten it before, that's going to get you points too. You've never gotten this money before as far as I can tell. You know, Lapeer's on their second one in 6 or 7 years probably. Third. So, you know, it pays to be aggressive towards these programs, and I hope that we'll get you funded on this one, and then we can move you forward in other categories too, because I know your infrastructure's old, but you need money to be able to do it, and that's what Police and Vandenbrink is very good at.
Well, I was gonna say, is that you're gonna be the ones that will be writing the grants, right?
We'll be doing it, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have to sit down. I mean, Larry already came in and assisted with, there's a few things that have to be done. So Eric has gone to some training classes because you have to be what's called Ready Development Community. And an RRC class is required. He's gone to both segments or one?
No, just the first half.
The first segment. He's got to go to one more. And then we have to go through a checklist. We have to have a capital improvements plan, which Larry has been helping Gary get together. That has to be done too. It's a 6-year CIP. But once we get through the classes, get our checklist done, get the CAT team member, you have a assigned individual in this area, a community action team member, and we'll get them engaged too once we get to the point of being ready to be engaged. They want you to be engaged, which means you're with MEDC, you've got planning tools in place, you're looking at the future, you're not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. That's what they really want to see. And we need that to be able to go after this grant. So with that, I think I'll turn it over to Gary and let him talk about some of the improvements that we talked about and some of the good things you guys can end up with on this program. So,
Thank you, David. I'm Gary Bartow with Police in Vandenbrink. And what I did was, we had met with Larry and Bart and Eric, and we did that on a Friday in a snowstorm. We come today and we're seeing rain, but anyway, what I did was I went ahead, put together a budget to see what it would cost to make the improvements at the lagoons. Okay, so this is a preliminary budget I put together on Saturday after I was here on Friday. And what we did was we put together a project cost for lagoon improvements, and it's very similar to what we put together for the city of Coleman, which they got awarded in 2017. So I'm pretty familiar with what has to be done, what needs to be done, what can be done, and a reasonable cost of what it should cost to do it. So based on removing the sludge in the 2 cells, putting clay embankment on the existing side slopes, because as Bart and I looked at it, they've sloughed in over the years because of not a lot of erosion protection. With putting a clay embankment in, with putting an armor stone that would go around the entire lagoons on the 2 cells, installing a brand new access roadway on the top, improving the access roadway to the lagoons from 19, and making some miscellaneous repairs inside of site, and which includes, by the way, on this area where you've got a catastrophic failure could happen, is in this 400 feet with sheet piling. So I've got a price in there to go in there and put 400 feet of steel sheet piling in, 30 feet deep, so that we don't lose.
Sheet piling is basically like a seawall, right?
Yes, correct, yep. And I figured, because I don't know what the soil's like underneath, I just assumed 30 feet, it's a square foot price. And, the average price runs from about $15 a square foot to $18 a square foot installed, so I'm pretty comfortable with that number. So we went ahead and looked at that, and that total cost with contingency and engineering is about $1.89 million or $1.9 million. The other thing that Bart and I looked at was you've got 2 pump stations in town that are the old can stations that are confined space entry issues. You've got pumps down below, similar to what McCormick Street is. You've got all the controls are down below. There's no backup emergency generation in case you lose power. So what we
On
did,
site, anyway, we do have the portable.
right, you have the portable. So what we did is we put together what a typical station would cost to make those improvements. And for the 2 stations, it's around $349,000. So my budget right now, and again, I took a look at the aerial. I know I looked at quantities based on what I've done in other communities, and we're somewhere around 2.2, 2.3 million. So with that said, with a 10% match from MEDC, you would be right around 238,000 would be your local share to do that project, and that would give you the entire 2 million. The one thing that we don't know yet is we haven't seen the final applications. So we don't know what little nuances they may have put in there from the year before. But the thing that we look at, like Dave mentioned, is you've got a catastrophe just ready to happen right here, that if that embankment were to blow out, that would be a huge violation, a huge impact on the environment.
we'll definitely make the papers.
So, it's, and we see that as
Don't need any more of that.
Same with Lapeer, as Jamie knows, with the McCormick Street pump station, they've got one force main that takes almost 2/3 of the town over to the wastewater treatment plant. It was put in back in the 60s. They crossed the Flint River twice. So if they have a catastrophic failure, that would impact the Flint River. So we went down, talked to DEQ. We got a letter of support, even though there wasn't a violation, but those are the things that get you to home base quicker than other communities. we found that a community-wide improvement scores more points with MEDC than replacing a section of water main on 2nd Street, or replacing a section of water main on 3rd Street, or doing something like that that's really only improving a certain area of town. This is your lifeblood. You know, I mean, this is, if you don't have a lagoon, you guys are in major, major trouble. So, I don't like to say it that way, but, you know, looking at, you know, the severity of what you have here, you're gonna score a lot of points in MEDC, and we feel that. Go ahead, Jim.
Gary, I just to let you know, when Eric told me that Felice and Vandenbrink was coming out, I thought, as opposed to my personal experiences, which has been very good with them, they've developed a GIS for us and our mapping systems as a base for all of the work that they've done there. But I talked to the DPW director, Pam Reed, and I have the utmost respect for her. And I asked her, on behalf of Memphis, do we want them? What's your experience been? And she couldn't say enough good things about them in terms of how well the city of Lapeer has benefited from this, and that it would be a great idea to take advantage of this. So the person you're seeing with Gary is the same person I've seen every time. He's always a gentleman. He's easy to deal with, and he dumbs it down so I understand what I'm supposed to. So I think he'll be a good fit if you choose to go forward with this. We've had a very good experience in Lapeer.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't have a question, I'd just like to express a little opinion, because this thing, the lagoons is a major importance to the city of Memphis. And I know Bob and I just discussed this at various times, that someday it's going to have to be done. And if this grant is out there, which we were not aware of till they approached us, and if we had to do this on our own, the cost would be almost prohibitive to our city. We could not, I don't know how we'd even do it, to raise a couple $1 million and pay off a bond. We've had general obligation bonds before, which we've done.
Right.
And this is the only way it could be done. And this will have to be done someday. And so if this grant is available and this firm can achieve that grant for us, it'd be a godsend for us. And hopefully it would come in under budget. But
Well, again, this is, you know, this is Saturday afternoon at home,
yeah,
knowing what I've done on other
Right.
projects, putting together a preliminary budget to see if we were in the ballpark, because that was a question
yeah,
that Larry, you had, what Eric had when we were here on Friday is,
yeah.
can we afford to make the improvements at the lagoon?
Yeah, and as far as coming up with the 238,000, if that's it, originally I thought it'd be around 200, but if it comes up to 238, we do have that amount of money in our, in the fund at this point. It will put an awful dent in it, but I don't.
It put us at a critical number, or low number.
Yeah, but anyway, we have to do it. Now, as far as a capital improvement plan that Gary and I have been working on, from my understanding, it has to be approved by the planning commission as well as council. Gary said he'll have that to me probably by the end of the month. And I think then we'll schedule a planning commission on the normal thing. I think it's the second Wednesday of the month. We get the approval there, then on our second meeting in March, then we can approve it by council, and then that will be completed. So I hope this can reach fruition and be done, and I think it'll be a tremendous asset.
You have my word, I'll have your CIP to you by the end of the month.
Good. So
And Larry did an awesome job, by the way. Larry and I sat down, and Bart sat down earlier before the meeting today, and we went through the CIP, and it's gotta be a 6-year CIP. Can't be a 5, can't be a 7, it's gotta be a 6, because that's what they said it had to be. But we went through it, and Larry saw the spreadsheet that I've developed. Larry's got all the data there, so all I have to do is input the data, which isn't gonna take me a lot of time to do. But you'll have it, and it'll be ready to go.
I thought you would like that.
He did an awesome job.
Larry's a spreadsheet guy.
Well, I do it the old-fashioned way, but I don't do computers. But anyway, I've done that my whole career, so I enjoy doing it as well.
Did a great job.
Thank you.
So, looking at all of the projects that we've done, again, over the last couple of years with MEDC and like the same with Lapeer, is the proof is in the pudding, is in the details, is in the thinking outside the box. It's the creativeness in the application to maximize your points. And, we think we're good at that. We've done a good job at it. And, we're here to support you to get this project because it's needed. It's a needed improvement. And if we can help you get 90% grant money for the project, then we've done our job. We've done our job for the community.
And if this works out, when we can apply for a grant again, we may come see you again.
Oh, we'll be telling you about them before you will be proactive. We'll get you'll be aware of what's going on. Our company is small to mid-sized communities, and if we can't find money for our customers, we don't have work. So it's for both of us. We got to find the money for you guys to be able to do the improvements, for us to stay busy too.
Yeah.
So,
All right, go ahead.
What's the bio detention pond? Is that a separate pond than the one that we have?
Good question. So, in the grant application last year, you were able to get 15 points out of 75 points if you had a bio detention swale in your application to collect stormwater. So you have this little pond that collects stormwater that will help eliminate infill, sediments and whatnot from entering the stream.
Pond before the pond.
A pond before the stormwater reaches the river.
Okay.
And there may be nuances associated with the new grant that will alter the course a little bit, but it's going to be a nice grant. We know that.
So the one thing that we did on that section is every project we applied for, same with Lapeer, we put in bio detention swales, right? Well, that's 15 points. So if everybody submits an application and you can get an extra 15 points out of 75 that somebody that did a street job applied for and didn't do it, you're 15 points ahead. Because it's all about points. At the end of the day, it's who's got the most points and what's the need in the community, which is important.
I've thought that forever looking at satellite photos, like how close those things are to the river. It's like just the big what if. You never know.
And so, we take photographs. We're going to come out, not when it's raining, but, not snow, but we'll come out, take a lot of photographs. We detail it a lot. We put together a set of preliminary plans because we've got all the details. We know what we're doing. So we're really doing a preliminary set of plans in the application, which gives you even more points. Because it appears that it's shovel ready and ready to go, just like we did for Lapeer.
Yeah, they want these projects to move forward fast. They don't want them to sit.
Wouldn't it be better to have photos of the high water mark?
Well,
from above, it's probably looking pretty close right now.
But you want to see the erosion. You want to see the impact.
Oh, see it lower, yeah.
See what the erosion has done on that riverbank.
Okay.
So, and we do that. We put those all in. We've got color photos. And, again, we sweat the details. We want to make sure that when that application goes in and is scored with every other community, yours is going to rise to the top.
Gary, I know you kind of mentioned it, Gary and Barton, but could you just kind of briefly state how it'll be developed, what the time, like, you'll submit the proposal, the proposal, then what time they would respond, and then what time then we can be in actually doing the work. Just a brief schedule.
Because the final application isn't out yet, but we believe it's going to be out within the next week. It's supposed to be, but whatever. They normally are due the middle of April. Then the staff reviews them, and then they make an award by the middle of June. And then once they make the award, you can't tell anybody, because if you tell anybody, you could lose the grant. Right? Jamie knows
They like to be the agency that announces it.
So then you go through a series of steps. You've got to go ahead and solicit a CGA, which is a certified grant administrator, which they pay for 100% to do all the paperwork for you. So it's not a burden on you. They do it. We did it in Lapeer. Then they go through a series of steps to make sure that they've got some environmental work done, to make sure that you've got proper clearance. and then they'll come out and then they'll make a big presentation. Then you can tell people, and then once that happens, then you can get started in construction. So,
And how long would that be?
well, okay, so if I go back to last year, Larry, the awards came out in June. The MEDC notified the communities in October. And so in Lapeer right now, we're getting ready to put the project out for bid in March, April. So construction will happen this construction season. So if you were to get awarded, which I'm hoping you do, I'm gonna do my best to get you awarded, you would start construction in 19. Right, after, once Bart takes the ponds down, and then we've gotta do some trickery there with transferring water back and forth.
And the project then completed?
It would be completed by the end of the year.
It would in 2019?
Absolutely.
Okay, that is, you reviewed that kind of review before, but.
Right, and again, you got two projects. You've got the pump stations and you've got the lagoon improvements. So we see those as two independent bids, two independent bid packages. So that's exactly what we're doing in the period.
Anybody have any other questions?
So what do we have to do? What is it upfront costs?
Another good question. Okay, so here's what we've done with our other clients, and, and the other people that we've put together the ice grants for is, because, and I think Dave has said this to you, Eric, is we know what we're doing, we're good at what we do. What we'd like to do is we'd like to put together the application for a medium amount of money with the understanding that if you get awarded the grant, you would award us with that engineering work for that project, okay? And what we've done with MEDC in the past is we've done the application for a small amount, and in this case, it'd be $2,500 to put together the application. Application's about an inch and a half thick. So we would go ahead and do that for the $2,500. And in that PSA, we would then put, if you're awarded the grant, then we would the council would authorize us to proceed with the additional engineering work for the design and then for the construction. And if you don't get a grant, it's $2,500. So, and it's much more than that to put them together, but like I told Eric tonight in Bart, I'm gonna do 99% of the grant work myself. So it's on my time, I'll do it. I've done it for the other communities. Pam and I were on weekends emailing back and forth on getting everything done, but I've got to have some expense in there because we do put together some mapping and some slide presentations and things like that. So I've got to pay my staff to do that, or our staff. But that's my commitment to you guys, that I want to see you get the grant.
And really, normally when you go for a grant, if you hire a professional grant writer, it's going to cost you between $1,500 and $2,500 to get this grant written.
Oh, absolutely.
Without all the engineering and.
My only question at that point, from what he just said, and this is probably more towards Larry, is the fact that does this play in any problem, compromise with BMJ, since we have a contract with BMJ for engineering?
I don't know, what do you think, but I don't think, this is a different project, so I don't, they're more,
At one time, they were getting involved with wastewater, but they've been downsizing, and I
well,
don't
that was when
believe
our
that
Troggy was there, right? And
Yeah.
he's not there anymore.
Well, he was training, and then I don't believe they're into that field. And
Well,
it's not-
I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. But
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that we have a
It's something
written
we need.
contract with BMJ for
Exactly.
our engineering, and if
And it's something it would,
we need to look into before we can make that.
I agree, yeah.
Not that I don't want you guys to do it, it's just I don't want
Right.
to have to pay both of you.
I hope you'll keep in mind that I was very reluctant in the beginning even to share it until I kind of got a feeling that there was a commitment. Because I'm not going to compete with myself. There's only so much money out there, and I want my community to get that money.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
just keep that in mind, and
I'm not saying that not to move forward on this, I'm just saying that we need to check to make sure that there's not a conflict of.
We don't want to breach a contract, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want B and J coming back and saying, hey, we need to pay them because we didn't use them.
Yeah, well, they used to be involved in it more back, I don't know, maybe what, 20 years ago, 15 years ago?
Yeah, a few years ago, they were breaking
Yeah.
into it
Yeah.
15 years
They
back,
have been
20.
involved in that for some time, but there's no reason why we can't.
But they're definitely downsizing and backing off due to whatever the reason
The
is.
city of Lapeer employs Rowe as their engineer, which is a very large firm, very capable firm. But in this kind of field, it's somewhat specialized. And otherwise, we've got a company that's actually brought it to us. Yours is a great question, just to be cautious.
Yeah,
But
that's all
I don't think
all
you're
I'm
gonna
saying.
find very many companies that would be able to step in at this point in time and write the grant and be successful. I've seen at least 2 grants, $4 million that the city of Lapeer has benefited from, and we've been very pleased with the work that they've done and the diligence in terms of the effort that Gary's put in.
That is not my beat,
No,
it's we just have to cover our own.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly, and that will have to be looked into, even if just a drop-in visit and over a cup of
Which
coffee
can
or
be done.
something.
They're definitely more on roads and things like that, and they have been for years and years.
Water mains,
Yeah,
roads.
Yeah, so, but we can certainly have a discussion with them, so.
I already spoke to Sherry Faust with the Bell River Watershed, and she's definitely in support. We went for a grant to stabilize that area of the river, I don't know, 2 years ago or whatever that was.
yeah.
We were unsuccessful at that time, so she's aware that this is going on. So the Bell River Watershed is definitely in support of it, and they'll be writing a letter for us as part of the grant, which can't hurt.
No, definitely not.
And maybe if you could just sort of mention some of the communities that you've actually done projects with lagoons, because I know you have experience in that, so.
Yeah.
I know you rattled off a bunch when we met.
We finished up the village of Breckenridge, that was the 011 project, and that was a complete redesign, just like we proposed to do here. We've got Coleman already, we've got a grant for them from last year, from 2017. That's gonna be under construction this summer. So we've got that one, we've done work in Ovid, city of Ovid, which is further downstream. We're looking at those improvements. So we've done a lot of lagoon with North Point, we've done lagoon improvements, so we do that all over the state. But as part of this package, right, this is really important to get, that done and know what to do and how to do it the right way.
In Deckerville last year, we got a brand new water tower. It'll be, I don't think it's under construction yet, but the grant is awarded.
City of Croswell, we're doing their water filtration plant. We got them a grant for that.
So that was all under this particular program,
Right.
so.
So they have experience in
Yeah.
exactly this type of project,
Absolutely,
which
yeah.
to me is great.
Yeah.
We're 200 people, so I mean, we're not a tiny company. I mean, we've got a lot of expertise, and we're a municipal engineering company, so.
No, you guys
It
picked the
goes
mark.
back to the arsenic removal plant,
Compliment you on that.
Definitely, I understand where you're coming from.
which we actually went with a different company on that.
As opposed to BMJ.
Yeah.
Sir, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just curious, how many communities are you vetting for the services? Because I'm thinking in my mind that, if they, pay to have a application, put together, they get to have some sort of calculation of, what each community is scoring point-wise, and that app is, potential to have, less likelihood than maybe some other app from another community that you guys are working with to do that same type of,
Well, with your community, that's big right there. That's a catastrophic release to the environment if that happens. So that to us, when I heard about an ice grant, like Gary said, if you just tried to do water main or something, it's not likely. But when you've got something like this that the DEQ is going to support you on and say, boy, if that blew out, it would be bad. You're talking millions of gallons of raw sewer to go into the river, right?
Yeah,
That helps a lot.
that's not improvement, that's
like
preventative, that's preventative.
Well, yeah,
maintenance more than even an
this is
improvement.
more a maintenance rehabilitation
Yeah.
type project.
I mean, you're preventing
A catastrophic release.
Catastrophic.
Exactly.
there's gotta be, hundreds of other communities that have similar
Not really.
things
There's
situated.
only 83 MEDC eligible communities in the state.
In the Michigan total. Not every community can apply for this.
Right. It's a low and moderate income
Yeah. You gotta be on,
grant that's given out by MEDC.
you gotta be on a list that comes out by HUD. And I have that list with me, but
Gotcha.
so only
sort
a
of
few
some-
communities Right.
calculated, you know,
Based on community and.
calculation that you've done.
Exactly. Like when I look at
Brought you
your,
here.
you know, your median household income here is 37,011, which under state standards, 41,678 and below is poverty. So you're in the poverty range, which doesn't necessarily mean you'll be on the HUD list, the low to mod list, because they do some other calculations in that list, but you're on it. So you're one of the rare communities that can apply for this money. It's not available to everybody.
And the people that got grants in the last 2 years, which was 8, 14, 22, 23 of the 83, can't apply.
Like when you look at Lapeer, Croswell, Deckerville, they can't apply again this year. They got their money. We're not even done with their projects yet.
How often can you apply?
Projects got to be completely closed out.
It all depends on what they put in the application.
Yeah, that's true, too.
It could be, what, 2 years down the
Could be
road?
they could wait until the project's closed out,
Okay.
that you could
They
reapply.
usually wait for that.
So we're on a very short list of other communities.
Oh, it's a great opportunity.
Well,
Oh
and
my God.
again, I don't wanna, I guess we know what we're doing, we're very good at it, and we wouldn't have gotten 9 out of 14 grants
Of the whole state last
of the
time.
whole state.
23 million,
17, and we got 4 out of 9 the first year. So we know how to put the applications together, we know the right things to put in, we're creative, we think outside the box, as we did with Lapeer, with Pam Reed and with Mike. So we know what we're doing, and not a lot of companies have that capability.
So is there ice money for roads? Because that's actually why I'm here at this meeting.
Yeah, not really.
Not really.
Unless we're tearing up what's under it, which we can replace the surface
We
based
have to
on
redo
that.
like the whole town in order for it to be.
Roads are tough.
Community-wide.
Roads are tough.
It's
benefit.
I don't mean to interrupt.
That's all right.
Eric, but Lapeer in 17 went for a water main street reconstruction project and never got scored because they didn't feel it was a community-wide benefit. It's gonna benefit all the low and moderate income people that live in the community. So we look at things and say like, things that make sense are water towers, pump stations, sewage lagoons or wastewater treatment, because that's a community-wide benefit for everybody. So we try and look at, where's the deficiencies in the system and where can we maximize your ability to get the points to get the award. Which I don't disagree. I wish we could go in and do every street in the city, right? However, right now with how competitive these applications are, you gotta pick and choose your battle. So do you want
Okay,
to?
so you're saying you could use it for road improvements then?
Only if you tore out what's below it. If the infrastructure, meaning water, sewer, it's an ICE grant, so infrastructure capacity enhancement, right? So if you had a main force main or a main trunk line underneath the road, tore it up, you could fix the top. It doesn't mean you can do the side streets.
Right.
You'd never get any points.
Probably apply more towards the.
Yeah, you could apply the application, apply for the, you could apply for that.
But you wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get the
But
points.
some of
Yeah, so
the
are we up
projects
against
like this
Fraser
would be
right now
done.
on their sinkhole?
Well, that's a whole different,
Or is that a different aspect of
right,
it?
they don't qualify for this money. They're not on the list.
Gotcha.
They can't even apply for it.
It would have to happen, it would have to happen in our size town.
No, yeah.
Something like that to.
They have to be on the
beneficial.
low to mod list to be able to do it.
Yes.
So, Mike, when will you be voting on this?
I think I think we should postpone the vote until the next council meeting, and Bart and I'll talk to
Yeah.
E&J, and once that.
He's on vacation for a week, by the way.
Pardon?
He is on vacation for a week.
For a week?
I think it's a week.
Well, the next council meeting's 2 weeks, a couple weeks ago.
Just,
Yeah, so it should work out. So I would think we just do that, then we can, what we do is vote, you said $2,500, is that the initial for the project to start going?
Could I ask for the courtesy of not sharing the details associated with the grant, since we just kind of spilled
Oh,
it
yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Is that
I
fair
think,
enough?
I'll just say,
Okay.
I'll just say
I appreciate it.
that we got a opportunity for a grant, and that we would like to proceed with it. They don't deal with this anymore anyway, so, but I guess
Yeah.
we probably owe them the, at least let them know what's going on, so.
I mean, I'm excited because I know that the whole thing with the lagoons and what's been going on over there, and then the thing with the river is.
I just think the timing is fantastic.
Well, you know,
What has been going
Yeah,
on
what's
over
gonna
there?
happen?
well, you know, that's my first in.
Raise your hand and
Okay, I'm
I'll
sorry.
call you up.
You know, my first in was, 15 years ago with the planning commission, when we were looking at community growth before everything kind of stalled. And that was one of our major issues in the city of Memphis, was with our lagoons and the capacity, because the capacity wasn't there if we wanted to grow. And back then, I know we were looking at having to dredge and line the lagoons, and just to do the bare minimum was over $1 million. So that was something that kind of stalled, and at the same time, the economy stalled, the growth stalled. So our lagoons have been okay, they've been staying status quo for what we have, but there's the impending what's gonna happen there when you're just a few feet from the river.
Put water meters in, open up quite a few gallons.
That slowed down the water usage.
Yeah.
That's good. A quick question, I know you're waiting. Would this improve capacity at all?
It would improve.
Just by removing sludge, I'm
it
sure.
it would improve the capacity.
Good to know.
If you just put it back where it was, you're removing the sludge out of it. And theoretically, that whole idea of a pond, let's say a 6-foot pond, your first 2 feet on the bottom, even though it takes the liquid, it's supposed to be for the sludge. That doesn't exist at that time, until it starts building.
Right.
Once you're at 2 feet, you're maxed, and you got to clean.
We're getting, what, halfway to that or something right now?
Possibly, yeah.
How long does it take to get that much in there?
You got somebody that knows.
Yeah, I know.
How long does it take to get that sludge level up? Like, are we talking 10 years?
No.
Did you what?
When was it cleaned out?
It was 93 and 94. Yeah. My last study was at 8 inches on an average, I believe it was, so it's probably right around a foot, let's say halfway there, maybe a little better than halfway there.
Sorry?
I just wanted to have you clarify what you meant by what's been going on with the lagoons.
You can call me, we'll talk about it. I'd rather not talk about it in a meeting.
Wasn't at the point of the meeting?
Well, there's always issues when you have a system that's, going on 50 years old. So we did a study out there, and there's a possibility that we were losing some of our, what do you call it, freeboard or?
Oh no, what's happening is we're having some erosion issues. Right now, the major issue is the river, how it's winding into the earth. It's eroding, and it's becoming closer and closer to the berm of the lagoons. And we want to obviously take care of that.
It's not the lagoon, it's the river.
It's actually, yeah.
All set?
So there hasn't been anything then, there hasn't been any flow from
No,
these?
no.
So there's just tracking erosion that's continuing
Right.
to cause,
Yeah.
because right now I'm on the creek, or the Sage Creek. and
Oh,
it's, real high.
Yeah.
So is that, water running into that and spilling over into
No,
the
nothing's
river?
leaking right now.
Okay.
No.
It just
You can just
stands.
see, where the bend of that river is there, it's over time going to erode.
get
It's
eroded.
just
No,
gonna happen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, even the
Especially right
creek-
now.
The
it's looking
lagoons
at-
aren't gonna
Moving
flow
around.
over the banks anytime soon.
Yeah.
No. So it's things like that, and there is a couple areas in the berm, it's not violating the integrity of, to retain the sewage in any way. But while we're doing something, let's do it right. And let's-
If you've ever been out there, you can
and
see
put-
there's quite a bit. I mean, them berms are pretty high.
There's about a 12-foot difference.
12-foot difference, so.
At least from the river level to the top of the berm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But as
Yeah,
that
you're saying-
earthen, gets stripped away at a certain point,
That's why we want to do something.
That's why
it's
these guys
just
are
a
here.
failure. Because right now, it's just an earthen dam, there's no,
It hasn't made it to
No
our,
man-made aspect to it?
It hasn't made it to our berm yet.
But
The
it's
sheet-
an earthen,
Right.
it's an earthen.
Right, it's just
gate.
earth
It's not-
separating it. Once you
not any
sheet
kind of
pile it,
steel.
just put steel in there, that will stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it, it can't go any farther.
If you go down Mill Street,
You know,
for
it's like
example,
like when you
along
shoot
Mill
something.
Street, if you stop and get up and look at the river, you'll see steel up into that area there. So when they did Mill Street back in 2003, there's an erosion problem happening there, and it used to be just cement and block, whatever. And that was removed, and we put a seawall in to keep the water from taking away the road.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Martin.
guys.
Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks.
Thank you very
Look forward
much.
to it.
All right,
to see you.
appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks. Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, thanks, yeah. That sounds great.
Thanks, Larry.
Hey, great presentation, guys.
Thanks. Thank you. Have this all done by the end of the week?
Yeah. Thanks for your time, that's great.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night. From the mayor, so I just want to let all of our planning commission members know, hopefully they're watching this meeting, that there's going to be a workshop for St. County. I will have Donna send out these notices to see if anybody's interested. It's going to be on March 29th for form-based codes and zoning board of appeals basics and stormwater impact and management. So if anybody wants to go, I think it'd be definitely worthwhile to send them. If anybody from council wants to go also, obviously they can go. And that's all I have. Kurt?
Nothing for me.
Larry?
Nothing.
Ken?
No, sir.
Nope. Jason?
I just want to say, I'm like, as you, I'm pretty excited about this project. I think this is something I've always thought about. You know, I've looked at aerial maps, I've played around back there my whole life and always thought, wow, this is really close. And just over time wondering, you know, wow, the way the river flows, so I'm pretty excited about this whole thing.
Yeah.
It sounds great, so. And besides that, just a motion to adjourn.
Hold on one second. Go ahead, sir.
The reason I came here is I was just, kind of wondering what we're gonna do about the roads, if there, is any, because I spoke to somebody from the city today, and they told me that there's been some grant, writing attempts and things like that, so.
Okay, there has, the Boardman Road from the city limits to Cole Street will be done this year.
Exactly, that's what she told me.
And then Mark and I are attending meetings in Port Huron. We're trying to get thrown into the hopper and the next go around, I think it's from 2020 to
2023.
23, and we're trying to finish Boardman Road and with another grant, and that will be from Cole Street to Main Street. Now, and as far as local streets goes, there's two mills were put in place back a couple years ago or so, but the accumulation of that is somewhere between $40,000 and $45,000 a year. But due to the economic of scale and so on, we have to accumulate that for a few years, accumulate enough money to even make it worthwhile doing anything. So that'll be a couple years down the road before we start even thinking about doing some roads. BMJ did a study on our roads, and I forget what it's called, a survey.
Hazer study.
Our survey, and we'll actually use that on what roads we might start with. Because according to how they do it, you don't necessarily do the worst streets first. You might do other streets because you can do more of those and save those roads, or you don't have to go down to the base and start over. So that's to be determined, and we'll probably look at that maybe in I would say 2019. And maybe and this is where don't hold me to this, but maybe to do something maybe in 2020. And it's going to take a long time because this one road, that Maple Street, where we did a couple years ago.
700 feet of it, I think it
Yeah,
was.
and I thought it would be about 50,000 and end up being 68. So that, because it's a small road, so that's why you want to accumulate enough money that you can do more, because the cost would be, you can get more done for the dollar spent. So,
Per foot.
Yeah, so.
So if we have like approximately 80,000 in that fund?
Yeah, we got about 90,000.
90,000.
Now, yeah, and but and I would think, right now, I believe it's about 43,000, I believe, is what goes into that millage, is that right?
Okay, that's what I was told. It approximately took 2 years to collect 80 grand.
Well,
That they were starting
On average, somewhere
like that.
So,
May I interrupt? Who are you, sir?
I'm a resident on Bell River, and
In the future, the council's been very accommodating to you, okay? The meeting's over with. But in the future, if you would like to come in and address the council, you need to sign in to get on the agenda or to have a sideline, to be on the agenda is not an agenda item, okay?
I was gonna tell them that.
well, it wasn't. The meeting hadn't started when I came in, so
Right, there's actually-
and I called the city ahead of
Sir?
time.
Sir, you were put on the agenda comes out on Friday. I've accommodated you through this whole meeting, okay? There's non-agenda item sidelines, sheets over there you can fill out at the beginning and you give it to me and you get to speak. I've allowed you to ask your
Okay,
questions.
whatever. That's fine.
I don't know why you're getting huffy now.
I'm not getting huffy at all. You know, I already swallowed
up.
up your absolute, complete
No, no.
rudeness. So all I'm asking is to just try to figure out what's going on here. Because on Bell River Road, where there's that S-curve, on my way here, there could have been a head-on collision because it's foggy and everybody's driving in the middle of the road because it's so completely eaten up. So, that's why I came here. And then, for me to be a concerned citizen, an interested citizen, you're gonna sit there and make me sit here for 10 minutes? You know what? That's fine. I agree with what you're saying about, process.
Sir, there's only one person here with their hand up.
I
I
understand.
knew you had your hand up the first time you put it up. And I went
Yeah.
to you, right?
No, you didn't. You made me sit
No, no.
here like a
No, I
person
didn't.
in timeout.
We were just about to end the meeting and I went to you, right?
Whatever.
Okay.
I don't want to argue with you. I'll follow whatever
I'm not
procedure.
arguing with you.
I'll follow whatever
I'm not
procedure.
arguing. I'm just
but I
telling you
came
what
here as a
happened.
concerned citizen, and you were rude to me. Okay, the meeting's adjourned. That's fine. Can I?
The meeting is not adjourned, sir.
Okay, well, whatever. God, it's ridiculous the way you're acting.
I'm being ridiculous.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Jason, if you don't mind.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, sir. If you want, I'll send you an election packet for next year. You can run it on council. Then you can